ready.
So I'm gonna put the clamp in first in the center. First, I think we get it pushed up against the bed, in place, get it lined up. Figure out how this gets on here. So start. It's kind of tight, but once I have it in place, check it. Grooves are in. Take my ratchet and use my ratchet to tighten it down just a little bit. Make sure that it's flush with the rails. I think it needs to be in the other notch. Give me just a second. Put it in the top notch so it doesn't keep sliding down. Should be good. I just gotta make sure all of this is level. It was on the lip, so I had to move it. Now that that's on there, I'm going to go move over to the other side. This one went on a little bit easier because I took some of backed off some of the thread before I put it on, so it definitely helped. Same thing, trying to just a little bit, and then I'm going to back it off just a little bit so make sure the rail's all the way forward and make sure that it is flush front to back, and it is. So I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit so it's snug but not too crazy. And the next thing it says to do is put this weather stripping on the bulkhead, but it has to be, it's excessive, so you just gotta cut it to length so that it works for what you need it for. So, were generous enough to put this tape on it so I can put one side over here and have it kind of stay in place. Run this along. It needs to go to about here. So I will cut the excess off. Probably run it a little bit long just in case. And then I peel the backing off. And I'm going to center it up here towards the front. Try to get down in here a little bit because there's a little gap because of the bed liner. And then I'll come across and make sure that it's straight. As best possible because I'm a ding dong. Same thing, pushed a little bit down in there to try to prevent water from getting down through the cracks. It's not completely waterproof, so I'm not worried about that. Now that I get that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the rest of these clamps. Actually, the first thing I gotta look at is give you these bed rail spacers, and those are supposed to go between the plastic and the bed rail if there's a big gap, but I don't think there's any on this truck. I'm gonna look and do that before I get too far ahead of myself. Everywhere I see a clamp, there's no space, so I'm just gonna not put the spacer in because it looks too thick. I'll just make sure I torque them down to the 120 foot-pounds I said too.
Okay.
Now I gotta go grab the bacon.